Welcome in, Meta fam. We're here to spread the news about hashtag FINRA fraud of MMTLP. Last night during the live stream, I got a couple clips. We watched Houston Wade's live stream. I'll have his link to his live stream down in the pinned comments. Make sure you go to subscribe to his channel if you want to watch the whole entire live stream that he did. He is the brother of Gardner Wade, which is a part of METATERRY, and Houston gives his thoughts and opinions on what could happen here on out. I thought this information was very valuable, so I hope you all enjoy. We're going to watch this clip here from Houston Wade showing his frustration. He is the brother of Gardner Wade from METATERRY. Let's watch this first couple minutes of his live stream he put out earlier today.
All right. Well, what do you mean waiting for Houston? What? Why is that? I'm live. Why is that thing there? Why is it not? Oh, there we go. That was weird. We're showing the waiting for Houston Wade thing on my side. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, so the too long didn't read. Shit's fucked up. That's kind of what it is. So I'm going to use the names because it is national news, man. MMTLP.
So he starts out because, he couldn't say the word MMTLP because his brother Gardner Wade, he's like, fuck it. I am using MMTLP now because it's all over. I mean, MMTLP, the FINRA fraud, it is just like mainstream now everywhere. So I like how he started that out.
Got halted by FINRA today due to the potentiality of an extraordinary event. Well, no shit, Sherlock. That's exactly the entire reason we bought this stock, was for that extraordinary event. That was the whole point. That was, Cat, don't you dare step on the keyboard.
Absolutely. That is why, we were buying MMTLP for the next bridge, the Oro Grande assets, but there was always the bonus of a potential short squeeze. Now, if the market would have been fair and let this trade through today and Monday, and if there wasn't a short squeeze, hey, fair market. But being they closed this and halted the trading illegally shows that what we have said, guys, they have been shorting this to hell and back, guys. There is probably, I believe Tony and Roller Pigeon's numbers are accurate, between 200 million to 280 million naked synthetic shorts out there, and they could not cover those shares. And that is the U3 from FINRA, the extraordinary event. That's what it is. So they had to stop it because this would have probably put some hedge funds out of business, some banks out of business. They would have been liable. So let's continue on here.
I'm ranting right now. That was the whole point of having that stock, was to experience and benefit from an extraordinary event. So, lots of rumors, lots of grumblings. It appears that there are two factions inside of FINRA that don't necessarily agree with each other, and that the halt, the U3 halt that was posted today that halted the trading of MMTLP was perhaps not unanimous. And the halt itself stops the trading of stock through Tuesday when the stock was set to be delisted. Now, this means that if they go forward with the privatization of MMTLP, that hundreds of millions of synthetic shares will be turned private, which is against the law. So FINRA, in doing this U3 halt, is breaking the law by basically encouraging hundreds of millions of short positions to not close as required by law. This is only the third time in history that a U3 halt has been used on a domestic stock.
I found that very intriguing there. He said that this is only the third time that the U3 code was ever used on a domestic stock. And we're one of them. And this is the big one.
It has been used twice before. Once was a 2-week halt, and the other was just for a few minutes while they figure something out. It's extremely rare and unprecedented that this happened. We know exactly what had to be done, which is the shorts have to close their positions.
Exactly.
FINRA said so on Tuesday, and then Wednesday they shorted. Thursday they shorted like crazy. and no one did anything about it. The brokers didn't do anything about it. FINRA didn't do anything about it. And all of a sudden, they looked at the ledger and they're like, oh my God, hundreds of millions of shares have to close in just 2 trading days. We don't think the system can handle it. Stop. The system can handle it. You just make the price so appealing, people want to get rid of their shares. That's it. That's all you have to do. Yeah, you're going to generate upwards of $2 trillion in liability for these short sellers, but guess what? That's what they signed up for, man. Infinite risk. That's what you take on when you sell short. If you put a cap on the infinite risk, then all you are doing is encouraging everyone in the market to destroy everything they can because there's no punishment for it. It legalizes crime, is what that does. And
Agreed. When you're a short seller and you short a stock, they tell you have infinite risk. But if you're a hedge fund or broker dealer, what market maker out there, that's not those rules don't apply to you. But if that was me and all the retail investors down there, you damn right they would margin call us. They would liquidate our portfolio because they do not help the retail investor. That's what the market is rigged. It's corrupt. And they screw us retail investors. The FINRA. I have some interesting things I can share later on this stream. I'm going to message this person I was talking to earlier today. Some interesting stuff. Let's continue on with Houston here.
Right now is in the middle of legalizing crime. Crime pays, man. It pays and it pays and it pays for days. I think this shows that you cannot have a private, non-governmental regulatory body like FINRA or the DTCC involved in the markets. That there's too much self-interest there, and they need to. Well, we need to expand the SEC into managing the ledger and regulating these things 100%, and also we need to make the SEC have the ability to levy criminal penalties against bad actors, because these private companies are not going to regulate themselves appropriately. They're not going to follow their own rules. They're not going to follow the law. They're going to do whatever they can to help their golf buddies out, and it's time for that to end.
I'm going to cut it right there because that is pretty much it. FINRA's going to help their golf buddies out. All those companies are going to help each other out. That's the way it goes. I agree with everything that Houston said there. Yeah, I just agree. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. Got a couple things here in the chat we're going to go over. We're currently live. Welcome in Jenny to the stream. We got a super chat here from Derek. If they let this trade Monday, do you think a lot of people will just bail out at any price because of the corruption? I'm going to say no, because we know our damn value. If you had any doubt of the value of this here should be your reassurance that this damn thing is valuable, because it was so valuable they had to freaking put the U3 halt on it. If it wasn't worth anything, if it had no value, they would just let this go. This thing had tremendous value. So that's my take on that. Tremendous value because they couldn't afford to cover. That's why they had to probably pay off the FINRA to put that on there. We got another chat here to cover from TJP. Spent an hour on the phone with Fidelity and they said that short positions will close Monday. Will we be able to sell on Monday but limit orders only? Nice to know. Thank you for that information there, TJ. Appreciate that. All right. I did message Gray back if he's here in the chat, if he can leave a comment. Sorry if I missed it, Gray. But as you see here, the chat is pretty busy. So if Gray gives me the okay to show his tweet, I will show the tweet here in the live stream.
Okay. Off. Both those off. Not a good day for a double intro. What I see coming, and this is my best guess, is that metamaterial will halt the cancellation of MMTLP stock. They'll halt.
That's key right there, and we hope they do that, because I believe it says in the S1 that they can halt this, guys. They can stop it. They can put a delay on the dates, and that way it wouldn't be deleted. And if we give them enough time, they will be forced to cover, which means they had to buy those shares. All right, let's keep going here.
That they'll just pull the date and say, "Yep, we're not going private," until it's figured out. They'll probably file an emergency injunction in federal court to lift the FINRA halt, the U3 halt, and they will probably seek, an extension of when they delist their stock and turn it private based on how long this halt takes place. So, if we don't hear anything from a federal judge this evening, we might hear something maybe on Monday. Katie, what are you doing? We're trying to stand on the keyboard. And so that's would be what that's what I would do. So I would assume that they've got lawyers work on that right now. The language in the S1 filing basically said we can stop this anytime we want. If we feel that something's not going right, we can just pull our privatization. So they have the legal language in the S1 to do that. So I'm betting that's kind of what happens. I would also bet that there's going to be class action lawsuits against FINRA, possibly against the DTCC, and probably listing a whole bunch of short sellers in there as well, because they are breaking the law. And people invested in this specifically for a squeeze play don't get to enjoy the squeeze play because the regulators stacked it against them. That's not how the market should work. There should not be a thumb on the scale in a situation like this. These dudes made terrible decisions. They must pay the price for it. That's how it works. Make me a goddamn millionaire.
Make us future meta millionaires. That's how this was supposed to play. And it would have played out that there would have been a lot of millionaires out of this, but FINRA screwed us. That's who screwed us. So they need to pay. FINRA needs to pay. And I believe this here is going to be like in the history books as something amazing, guys. I just have that feeling like this could be something truly amazing. What this could do if we get lawsuits on them. Now I know lawsuits can drag out and take a while, but think about it. How else they gonna pay for this, the crimes they do? You got to take them in. You got to prove them guilty. We need to prove them guilty.
You fucked up, make me a millionaire. You don't get to all of a sudden say, I'm taking my ball and going home. No, you lost, dude. Own up to it. You made a bad bet. Now own up. Just 6:30 this morning, I was into my phone. But man.
Good night, Smokey, man.
All right. Couple super chats here. Billcoin, give it to us straight. Is GME MOAS going to happen? Not if this is how the regulators work. I mean, if they could anytime go, yeah, fuck it, you guys can get away with it, then no, there won't be no MOAS.
Agreed.
There has to be punishment. There has to be consequences for actions. The entire point. And you know what? Let's literally paint a picture. Let's paint a picture. Okay, I'm going to go like that. I'm going to go there. And there we go. All right. So, why are you not working mouse? There you are. Okay. All right. I need a brush.
Agreed, Donald. FINRA screwed us in the A.
Give me that brush. There's a brush. We're going to do a big brush. There we go. Okay. So, let's say a stock is $10. So, this is the floor of... This is zero, this guy here. And the stock is at $10, right? At $10. And a short seller is it thinks the stock price is going to go down. So what they're supposed to do is they go out, they borrow shares from someone, and then they sell those shares at $10. And then months or years later, the price of that stock, let's say it drops down to, $1, right? Boop, boop, boop. It's all the way down to $1 Okay. They can go in the market, buy those stocks back for $1, and return all the shares they borrowed to their lender. And they get to keep the $9 profit. They get taxed on it, whatever. If the stock price goes all the way down to zero, right? They never have to buy any stock back because the company went bankrupt, doesn't exist anymore. They get to keep all $10 and then they never have to pay any stock back.
Which is
pay
what
any
they
taxes
want.
back on that.
Which is what they want.
Win-win. That's their goal. They want to get the stock price to zero because they want to pay taxes on it. And, screw you, I want everything. Okay. If it goes upside down on them, if they borrow so much stock, right, and they sell at $10, but all of a sudden the stock price is at, I don't know, let's say $30. Now, if they're forced to go back in the market and they got to buy all the shares they need to buy, they got to pay 3 times as much per share. So they're losing 3 times what their original lending was, and they just got squeezed, right? And if they go in the market and buy them, this price is going to go even higher, right? Because they're putting more buy pressure on that thing. When you borrow a stock, there's a chance that other companies have borrowed that stock. Other individuals have borrowed that stock. And a bunch of folks have sold that stock naked and generate FTDs. And the stock that has been borrowed has been borrowed 4 times over. And there could be an appreciable, just insane number of shares out there. And when it comes time and you have to close, the buy pressure will be so insane over such a short period of time that the price can fly from not just $30, but basically upwards into infinity. And that's your infinite risk. That this $10 original loan might cost them infinity, because so many people at one time have to go into the market and close out their positions. Now, what FINRA has done is these guys borrowed a stock at $1. The price went to $10. They allowed them to short it back down to $1, and then they capped it. They took the infinite risk and said, okay, we're done. And they never closed any of their positions.
Nope.
All they did was open more. They opened 13 million short positions yesterday.
Yeah.
That's not closing.
And we got that right here. 13.7 million in volume on the last trading day. And crazy enough, we had an opening bid at 615. That is so strange. How do you have an opening bid of no trades? They took this here and stopped it before it would have ran even higher, guys.
That is not closing. If the price did not go to thousands of dollars, they did not close their positions on this. And FINRA is scared of that, because if there's 250 million shares at $1,000, right? Million short shares at $1,000. Let's take the paint away here for a sec. And calculator.
We'll get the roller pigeons tweet after this here, guys.
Well, of course. That just froze. Hopefully it's working on the other end. Oh, for crying out loud. There it goes. Okay. Man, everything is slow and frustrating today. Even my own eyeball is slow and frustrating today. Okay, so there's 250 million plus shares, right? So at $1 share, $250 million in liability. Womp womp, you can take care of that. That's fine. You're okay. But at $1,000, oops. At $1,000 a share, that's $250 billion in liability, and nobody has that kind of cash.
And that's what
the short sellers do. Their banks don't. And if it, say, goes to $10,000, right, you're looking at $2.5 trillion in liability all of a sudden. They don't have that money.
Nope.
That would evaporate all of the big banks and force the government to do bailouts. Okay, then do that. I have no problem with that. You bail out everyone else all the time. Bail me out. I'm totally okay with that. But they're scared. They are very scared. They are very, very, very scared of what that means. It means that all of a sudden, don't you dare drink my water, cat. All of a sudden, they have to go out there and admit that they've been letting these guys just go, pew, 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 just firing their bullets off everywhere, and no one's been doing any policing. So,
it's frustrating.
Here we are.
Here
we are watching the crime get committed, because the crime is so big, they're scared to enforce it. You know what, dude? I don't care. Enforce it. Make an example of these dudes. Start knocking them down one by one and fix this shit.
Agreed.
Just fix it. Just do your damn job.